Hey everybody, and welcome to EduMatch Tweet and Talk number 28. You can follow along with us on Google Plus at bit.ly/tweettalk28 or on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch. Speaking of EduMatch, if you want to be a featured EduMatcher of the day, then just go to edumatch.education and just fill out the Google form, and we will get you up and running. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to Digit Summit UK and EdCamp Global Classroom 16. So that's hashtag ECGC16. Also wanted to shout out EdCamp Voxer, which is going on right now, so it's not too late to sign up. So definitely check that out. Check the EduMatch hashtag. We are going to be tweeting about that in just a moment. So today we're going to be talking New Year's resolution. So I'm going to throw it over to our awesome moderator for this evening. So Shana, go ahead, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Shana. I'm going to pose the first question, and you guys can introduce yourselves, tell us where you're from, and also what you do while answering the first question. Resolutions to me are a very finicky thing, and I think that's because I come from the health and fitness field. I was a personal trainer, and I always got to hear, I want to lose this amount of weight, I want to do this, do that. And sometimes people don't have necessarily the resolve to follow through with those resolutions. So I want to hear about resolutions that maybe you set for this year. Did you meet them? Did you not? What were some of the hindrances there, as well as introducing yourself? So I'll start with Amanda, and then everybody else can kind of kick in after that.
Hi, I'm Amanda Rogers. I'm a third grade teacher here in Texas, and I would say my resolution is going to be to incorporate gamification in my classroom. I tried it a little bit, and then when I didn't get the results I wanted immediately, I kind of just threw it to the wayside and went on with something else. So starting in January, I'm going to try to gamify and get my kids engaged with gamification.
All right, cool. Derek, you're up next.
Hey everybody, my name is Derek Larson. I'm a classroom teacher in Southern Utah, and I had a number of resolutions. Most of them were personal pieces, reading more, connecting with other people, and I did well in some areas. I feel like I've made a lot of connections in 2015. Joining EduMatch was one of the biggest things I've done, and that's opened up many doors for me. I've been able to meet many of you only digitally. I've not met you face to face yet, unfortunately. Hopefully that can change in 2016. That's one of my big ones for 2016, is to try to get to more conferences outside of my state, and to meet some of these people I've made. But 15 was for connections and getting to know people.
Awesome. Dina?
Okay, sorry, this is like my first time working the computer and everything. I'm Dina from New Jersey. I am a math specialist and an instructional coach in a K-2 building. So part of my day is working with students that need intervention. The other part of my day is coaching teachers. So my New Year's resolution is to definitely get into more teachers' classrooms, show them the benefits of connecting through the Twitterverse, and just kind of sharing a lot of the things that I found through Twitter, with the teachers in the classroom.
Awesome. Jacqueline, you popped in. Can you hear us? Want to know what is maybe a resolution that you had for this year, and then tell us where you're from and what you do.
Hello, I am Jacqueline from Texas. I teach 5th grade in the Weatherford ISD district, and for New Year's resolutions, I'm going to do a book study with my kids, so I'm looking forward to doing that, and it's been on my radar for a couple months, but I just have kind of been slacking on putting it into action, so that's my goal for this upcoming semester.
Awesome. Josh?
I'm Josh Felice. I'm also from New Jersey. I'm a principal of a junior high school, 7-8 building. My New Year's resolution was a few things. One is to begin blogging. That's one thing I was sort of afraid to do. The fear came from assuming that people would not read my blog, but it shouldn't be to have fear for people not reading it, but just basically expressing my thoughts in writing, which I think I have a lot to say to other people and for them to hear some great ideas. Second thing is also to just bridge or expand my my PLN. Again, like our first person here, he has expanded his PLN through Twitter, and the same thing here, like EduMatch, and I've done a few other things, subscribed to a few other channels like StatChat, EduChat, and a few things. So I'm definitely looking to do those. Simultaneously, I'm also implementing, I'm organizing 2 ed camps as well as a Makers Fest for my area in New Jersey, and I'm looking to definitely follow through on those because I've had things like a STEAM fair. I want to do it before, but it just did not follow through. So this year's big thing is just to follow through on all of those New Year's resolutions.
Awesome. Sarah, our fearless leader, would you like to share some resolutions maybe you set this year that you reached, and give us where you're from and what you...
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Thomas, and I had to think about it for a second. I'm a regional technology coordinator from Maryland. And right now I am right now I am Google Hangouting, from Texas. So I guess my resolution for this year was just to kind of help other people connect. And, it was a very, very good year for that. So I'm looking forward to more in the upcoming year, and thank you all for making that possible, and thank you all for sharing all of your great knowledge.
Awesome. A lot of y'all have some really good resolutions, things that maybe you started this year, you're going to continue next year, etc. What are some ways that maybe you can use the new year and resolutions to encourage maybe your colleagues to do something better, more creative, whatever the case may be, in their classrooms or in your buildings, or maybe if you're at the district level? What are some things that you can do to maybe use this new year as a time for them to push colleagues to do more, do better? And I'll just turn it over to anybody who wants to talk.
Okay. Go ahead, John.
This year, against January 9th is the first unconference that we're having. It's called, it's an EdCamp type of form, but it's called Educational Chat and Chew. We believe it's just not within my school, but also attaching the district to a different form of professional development, where I even have students that are registered now to come and present, and that's something that's big before, because people may assume that students don't have anything to offer. I think it's promulgated, but then to show action about that, this is where I'm putting, I guess, where my foot where my mouth is, but I'm really excited to see on January 9th. And I think by the teachers seeing the students come to present their great skills, it's not going to require more teachers step up as leaders. Same thing with the Makers Fest. It's requiring students to look at things from a different perspective as far as learning, where in the brick and mortar during the school time, things have to operate in some sort of system, meaning from protocol, from do now all the way to the conclusion, whereas the making things just allows them to just think out of the box and come up with a solution towards a problem. And that is going to now change the style and paradigm shift as far as where the teachers have to teach in that same sort of type of system and protocol.
And I think it's always awesome when you get students involved, and I'm going to go to you next, Dina,
Okay.
just because when you allow students to get involved, you give them and empower them so much, but at the same time, you make the teachers realize that their job is to facilitate. Teachers don't want to let go of the reins, and when somebody knows more than them, that's kind of an intimidating situation. But when you let it be a student, I think it's empowering not only for the student, but I think it also helps the teachers. So Dina, you had something else to add?
Yes, and before I do my part, I just want to kind of piggyback off of what Josh said. I'm so excited to hear that your ed camp does involve students. I have to work in the same district that my son is a student in, but a lot of times, like, I love to go to the ed camps, but there's sometimes when, I just ask, like, oh, have students ever gone? And it's always no, it's just for the teachers or just for, like, administrators. And I think it's so powerful to have the students there because they're the ones that, like, a lot of times are using a lot of the programs. So I think that's great that you're starting that. I am also in my K-2 building, like, when I've gone in and modeled different things with different classes, I realized that I might have done it in 1 or 2 classes and not the other classes. So in the new year, we're having like a student ed camp type of thing where the students are going to teach the other students in another class, kind of, and do the different programs that I've done and kind of teach it to, like their matching class. So I'm hoping that that'll be successful.
And peer modeling also is huge. Not only students modeling the teachers, but when peers are modeling, it's really powerful, and you kind of create your own little kid leaders, which I think is always great. Derek, you had something to add?
Yeah, so I think one of my major professional resolutions for this year is to take better care of myself. Um, I've been struggling a little bit, and through EdCamp Voxer, there's been one of the groups I've been participating in has to do with that and making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. At church today, we actually talked a little bit about the fact that we can't give everything of ourselves all the time without running out of energy eventually, and we have to make sure that we're taking a few minutes to take care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever we have to do to refresh. There's a story about I think it was Abraham Lincoln who asked if he was told that if he had so many hours to cut down a tree, he'd spend the first number of hours sharpening his saw, making sure it was very, very well sharpened so that he could do the very best with it. We've got to remember that as educators, we can't give, and not worry about running out of steam. We've got to take some time off a little bit, and I think it definitely falls under professionally because I know for me, I've got some fitness goals I need to take care of that I think will help me in the classroom. I'll be able to go out and have more fun with my kids at recess, keep up with them, and then just in general, like I don't sleep really well at night most nights because I'm up too late, and I've got to make sure that I'm getting more sleep at night so that when I'm in my classroom with my kids, I can give them everything I have to give and not be tired and not be worried about missing things.
That's awesome. That was actually going to be my bonus question, but I guess I can just segue to it now because I'm a huge proponent of health and fitness. I've noticed just being in education for 12 years, a lot of teachers do not take very good care of themselves. Like you said, they give and give and give, and they don't realize that when you continue to do that, you eventually are going to hit a brick wall. So are there any of you on the panel going to take some precautions or maybe some challenges yourself health-wise? I know Derek just mentioned a few, to make yourself better physically, maybe mentally, maybe spiritually, maybe emotionally, so you can be the best teacher, educator in your building or in your district.
I concur with Derek, and I apologize, Derek, for not memorizing your name at the start. But just like you, there's for the past few years, I've had some physical ailments like spinal stenosis in my neck. I had a plantar fasciitis in my foot. It's just every time as soon as I turned 40, put it that way, I'm now 42. As soon as I turned 40, things started breaking down. Whereas I was a physical guru, and I think every time I start, it's just like a new injury, and it just takes me back. But then I guess I have to go at it slower because getting all this physical therapy. There's going to be a gym that's opening literally 3 minutes from my house where I can actually walk and ride my bike to. And Verizon Blue Cross Blue Shield offers the cost of my gym membership as long as I attend 12 times a month. So that's my drive now to go for free. So, but I must go 12 times a month, which obviously could bring down to about 4 times a week. Which was nothing for me in the past. So that, in addition to, again, I think just scaling back as much as I can by delegating, and being a principal, I can kind of do that, but I guess the smaller school that you may have, there's less responsibilities that you can do to other people. Just people will step up when they realize that they're giving leadership roles, and that's what I need to do just a better job at.
Awesome. Dina, do you have anything?
Yep, I think I'm also going to try, with doing stuff at home to, like, my son's a BMX rider, so he's very active, and I can't keep up. So, but I think, like, using him to that advantage, will help me, but also I want to involve my students in that too. So if we could get up and do, like, a brain break or something, like, to get me moving, as well as the kids, I think it's a benefit to everybody.
Completely agree. Well, the last question is this. You guys have put out some really good resolutions and goals. Do you have a resolution that maybe you haven't shared that maybe scares you a little, something that's going to make you get out of your comfort zone this year? I know for me, my big thing is I'm a major introvert. Sarah and I joke about this often. I really rather talk to myself and be in a room by myself and clothed by myself. And so I'm going to make an effort to share more and present at conferences and that type of stuff, because I know that there's knowledge that I can share with other people, but also it gives me a chance to meet other people and learn. So are there any kind of goals that you have or resolutions that maybe scare you a little? That scares me tremendously because as an introvert, being around crowds of people is a freaky thing. But are there any goals that you have that kind of scare you a little? that you're going to kind of reach for in 2016?
So one of mine is, like I said earlier, that I love to attend the ed camps. I have never gotten up and presented at one. This last time when I went to one, I think in October, and I spoke about something, and the person made me get in front of the class, and I thought I was going to pass out, like to talk about it. But I feel like I definitely should do that. Like, I've done it like within my own building, within my own district, but it's just like all those faces that I'll probably hardly ever see again, but it's just that, uneasiness of being in front of complete strangers.
I'm with you on that one. Derek?
Yeah, so I've got something actually. One thing I'd like to do is I'm helped a little bit with the UK Summit, the digital citizenship at the UK Summit, and I'm hoping to be able to find a way to make that happen. I'm working with a couple people. Just muted myself. Sorry. I'm trying to get myself over there, and that's something that one of my goals is to try to get more involved in even in these communities, and I'd like to find ways to present outside of my district, outside of my state. I've presented all over the state of Utah, but I've not been outside of the state of Utah, and so I'm hoping next month to not only go outside of the state, but go outside of the country, go over to the UK and go present. I know Sarah's going to be there and try to learn from her a little bit, right, face to face. But that's one of my big goals. That and just digital citizenship in general. Help my students to see that they are a bigger part. And I'm one of those that I don't really talk about my resolutions a whole lot, but that's one thing I'm hoping to do.
Awesome. Josh, do you have a big scary resolution?
Again, the blogging. I have a lot to say. I've written for my dissertation hundreds of pages anyway, but it's just, I think, getting out there for the public to see and hear, as well as just build a digital citizenship of my staff, because the students want it and need it. But it starts with me as far as modeling that expectation. I think I've done that. Get the school on Twitter, get the Google, the Google address. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page, and they're scared of even sometimes posting things because they're like, I don't want the kids to get my address or ID. And I'm like, we got to start somewhere, even if they create a fake account, but just getting them comfortable doing it. Because the thing is, I want the world to know the story about my school, but it starts with me and then modeling for them to do the same for the kids.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for this great conversation. Thank you so much, Shana, for moderating it and just being awesome. And thank you to Josh. Thank you to Dina. Thank you to Derek. Thank you to Amanda and to Jacqueline, who jumped in as well, for their insight on the topic. So next week we're going to be talking teacher buy-in for technology.
Okay, I guess I'll close this out since Sarah's battery was on like 1. So basically next week is teacher buy-in for technology. We also have the EduMatch Bladathon, which is going to be on the 30th, right at the conclusion of EdCamp Boxer. EdCamp Boxer is still going on, and it's going on until the 30th at noon. So feel free to jump in. Great chance to increase your PLN, get some PD in your pajamas with some hot cocoa. But thank you for joining us, and hopefully everybody has a great evening. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Take
See you
care.
guys.
Take care. Pleasure meeting you, Derek.
Pleasure.
Bye. Nice meeting
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Have a good one.
All right.